Well, it's that time of the week, as it must come, I guess, every week, as we go out to the left coast of America and check in with Michael Snyder and see what's happening with movies, etc. Hello, Michael.
Well, howdy there, Alex Bennett. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Doing fine.
Well, it's kind of a mixed bag this week. Nothing, in the terms of blockbusters for reals, and we may do a little catch up on some indie and foreign stuff, but let's roll with it, all right?
Okay, go right ahead. We're waiting.
I have to first apologize because of the holiday weekend. They slammed a couple of screenings together. I could only choose one of two movies, and the thing that got the short shrift was a movie called Me Before You. I didn't see it, and it stars Khaleesi herself, Emilia Clarke of Game of Thrones, and Sam Claflin as a relatively young couple in London. She's a caretaker, and he's a rich and paralyzed Londoner, and of course they fall for one another, and it's supposed to be cute, but it sounds kind of like The Fault in Our Theory of Everything, and I decided against it. I will get to the movie I did see in its stead, and that is a film called Pop Star, Never Stop, Never Stopping. Yeah. Anyway, I went in with a little bit of a chip on my shoulder because it's the product of the Lonely Island comedy troupe. And actually, I like these guys. They're the ones behind the SNL digital shorts like Dick in a Box and I'm on a Boat or whatever the hell that. I mean, it's funny stuff, generally music video parodies. And the three guys, Andy Samberg, Akiva Schaffer, and Jorma Taccone, are talented. They were hired by SNL as writers. Samberg broke out as an on-screen guy. And here they make their first major movie. I think they've dabbled here and there with other things, but they are also all on screen in this movie. And it's kind of a cameo-filled pop music satire. And Samberg is an angst-ridden, self-doubting ex-boy band member who hits it big after he leaves the successful trio, the Style Boys, which also that trio features Schaefer and Taccone. And then he freaks out when his second solo album fails. It's got a terrific cast. Bill Hader, Imogen Poots is a love interest, Maya Rudolph, Martin Sheen, Sarah Silverman, cameos by Snoop Dogg, Carrie Underwood, Usher, Mariah Carey, Pink. Basically a satire of contemporary pop done as a mockumentary that uses VH1's Behind the Music and recent backstage concert documentaries like the Justin Bieber and Katy Perry vehicles as fodder for its humor, and it works. I mean, it's damned funny a lot of the time, and the song parodies are terrific, one of which was given a separate and different music video treatment on SNL recently. The title, and, if you have shell-like ears and can't take vulgarity, hold them now. The title is called Fuck Bin Laden, and it's about a woman who is obsessed with Osama bin Laden. And I don't want to repeat any of the lyrics. It's very, very funny, and it gets the quote-unquote concert treatment in the film Pop Star. I mean, Samberg is just right as the tortured, narcissistic Connor for real. I mean, this is Spinal Tap? Another influence on Pop Star? Not quite. Different era. And that was kind of the first comedy to truly pull off the mockumentary. And it was truly gut-bustingly hilarious. Pop Star, Never Stop, Never Stopping doesn't have as many big laughs, but I think it's a worthy successor. And it's kind of nice to see all three guys on the screen working together. There are surprises and fun. And yeah, anyway, I recommend it highly. I wish I could say some good things about the movie Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows. The Turtles are back in a sequel to their box office hit action comedy, which I also thought was pretty terrible, tedious, lowbrow, unfunny. I never bought the giant turtles. I mean, Megan Fox as the kind of female lead who has her own like bizarre, weird romantic interest in the film. In this case, basically played by Arrow himself, Stephen Amell. She's look, Megan Fox and four mutated anthropomorphic turtles. That sounds like the worst celebrity sex tape ever, or maybe the best. Anyway, you've got Will Arnett, Tyler Perry, Laura Linney. They're all selling their souls by contributing to this thing, as far as I'm concerned. not very funny, not very exciting. The supervillain Shredder joins forces with a mad scientist played by Tyler Perry. It's, oh man, I felt like I kept looking at the exit. Let's put it that way. Anyway, no turtle soup for me. Okay, The Fits. Wow, The Fits is a weird, cool movie like nothing I've ever seen before. Tony is an 11-year-old kid who joins a dance drill team at the local community center in Cincinnati's West End neighborhood. It's kind of funky, and she and her new colleagues in the dance troupe start having weird fits. They start having fainting episodes and all this other weird stuff going on. Now, this is a strangely beautiful, low budget, trying to come of age story that's also a psychological drama. When you look at the thing as it unfolds, it's kind of about the challenges of adolescence and the thrill of discovery and the magic of community and the power of dance. But it's also full of mystery. I just can't even articulate a lot of it. It's sort of the movie you have to experience. And the young girl who plays Tony is an unknown actress named, are you ready? Royalty Hightower. And she is beyond fantastic and may have a big career ahead of her. And the same goes for writer-director Anna Rose Holmer. Again, this movie, The Fits, defies category in some way. It's fascinating at how the girl is wrestling with the need to be better as a dancer and at the same time to be a part of this group and kind of be accepted, and the feigning spells and these odd spasms become pivotal to this, and they want to maybe transmute all of their experiences and their feelings into art. It's a very, very cool movie. Not for everybody, maybe, but I thought The Fits was just really impressive. Honey Glue is an independent romance. It's corny and earnest. Honey Glue is one word. And it's also one of those terms of endearment type films where a couple falls in love just as one of them is heading into the final stages of terminal cancer. Oh, yeah, this was a joy. At almost 2 hours, it's a little too long. And, when you think about these movies, you want to kind of invest in the characters. And thankfully, the two actors who play Morgan and Jordan, Adriana Mather and Zach Villa, are likable enough. She's, kind of sheltered and has a very loving mother and father and a very protective brother. And he is kind of a loose cannon. He's very androgynous. He plays with gender and identity, and he's sort of always in trouble. And I kind of wanted to love this movie, but I had a tough time dealing with it, when you consider where these movies have been before and the kind of how heartbreaking they can be. And I wasn't really moved enough. In fact, again, it wasn't that I was watching my watch, but I just thought it was way too long. Although kudos to writer-director James Bird, who's kind of labored over this for a few years to get it out, and he finally got it released. So good for him. The Final Master is a martial arts drama, and it's one of those pre-World War II Chinese movies. We've seen like Jackie Chan films and movies about the rise of Wing Chun in the past that have dealt with this. And I like martial arts films, and this is a lot of fun to watch. And again, it's one of those movies where someone has to pass on the skills and philosophy of Wing Chun, and at the same time, you've got to deal with this kind of martial arts community where people are trying to dominate. Each style of fighting is supposed to be the best, and so they're always fighting one another to find out which is the best. And this is one of those films, and the action sequences are pretty cool. Hao Feng Zhu is the writer director, and it's a lot of Chinese actors, some of which you may recognize from other martial arts films, some you may not, but it was fun for me. I like this kind of film. A movie that is like The Fits, kind of beautiful in its way and unlikely, is Chevalier, and it is subtitled, and it's about a bunch of guys who go out fishing, and they're in the middle of the Aegean, and they're on this fancy yacht, and they want to kind of play a game, like who's going to be the top dog, who's going to be the Chevalier. And it is very cool. It's like kind of crazy because guys, macho guys, testosterone fueled battles, that kind of thing, and that sort of stuff can be a little tedious. But I thought it was really kind of cool. And when you think about, what's that thing about when you're in middle age and you start buying a fancy car to sort of get in touch with your youth again, that weird second childhood attitude that fuels a lot of the competition in Chevalier. And there's it's not like the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, mind you, but there's a kind of a pecking order, and people take sides, and there's a kind of cliques forming and breaking apart amongst this handful of men. And I just thought it was kind of cool, and again, not like any movie I'd ever seen before. I thought that was great. Finally, I want to mention The Measure of a Man, which came out in, I think, New York and LA a few weeks back. And it is one of the most insightful and disturbing movies about what working class men in the modern world have to deal with, particularly when you think about technology, the digital age, and the lack of privacy. Vincent Landon is a French actor, and he is incredible as this unemployed guy named Thierry who has to find work. He's desperate for work. His money's running out. He goes from job to job trying to find a gig. It's difficult. He's clamoring for one. He's taking interviews. He's doing workshops. It's making him nuts. And he finally finds a gig, and the gig is so strange because it puts him on the other side of surveillance. He ends up being basically kind of, I guess you'd call him, watch. He becomes the watchman instead of the watcher. Let's put it that way. And this movie deals with life in a technocratic society that's kind of basically gone over the top. And I just thought it was great and really, really timely. We have a movie coming out about Snowden soon. This world is like nothing we've seen before, I think, as we've embraced Big Brother by joining Facebook and allowing ourselves to be tracked by GPS units. It's a different world, and this movie kind of deals with that and deals with the struggle of just the ordinary guy trying to make it. There's desperation, and this guy, you want to root for the guy too, and it's just amazing to see a film that deals with this sort of stuff. Again, the movie's called The Measure of a Man, and I recommend it highly. That's it in film. What do you got?
Boy, you really hit an all-time record for a bunch of films nobody wants to see. Yeah,
well, I'm doing a little catch-up, and some people are going to want to see these movies. They may not be big budget they may not be.
They can wait for television on these. They can wait for HBO, Showtime, whatever.
Yeah, yeah, no question about it. But I'd like people to know about them, and if they are going to be watched on video, so be it. But yeah. I like what's going on. In some of these films, I'm telling you, The Measure of a Man was terribly moving.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I want to say.
Okay, all right. Well, that's about it, I guess.
What's on the tube, buddy?
Just Netflix is now running Peaky Blinders, so we're rewatching it with the subtitles because you really miss a lot in Peaky Blinders if you don't turn the subtitles on. There's some incredible writing that just gets slurred by the accent.
First off, you've got the Birmingham accent.
Yeah.
You've got. It's set in the 1920s in Birmingham, which is the industrial heart of England, and the accent is thick, and also the vernacular is different from contemporary times.
Here, I got a trivia question for you.
Go ahead.
Stephen Knight, who's written every episode of Peaky Blinders and created the series, also created what other major hit series?
Knight Rider?
No. I'll give you a hint. It's a game show.
Oh, you must be kidding.
No, I'm not kidding.
I don't know.
He created Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
You are joking.
No,
I had no clue.
No.
Well, wow. The hell with that. But wow, I love Peaky Blinders. Now, actually, you know what? I'll be honest with you. When Who Wants to Be a Millionaire started, I watched. I was amazed by it.
Yeah, but I'm just amazed to see that. But the show's great. But I suggest watching it with subtitles. I know that a lot of people go, well, gee, I don't want to watch a show in English with subtitles. Why should I do that? I'm telling you, there's stuff you're going to miss unless you have the subtitles.
Listen, man, Ken Loach, one of the great British directors who deals with the, I don't want to make this sound like a symphony about it, with the working class, and specifically the working class in UK, has actually released out movies in America with subtitles because the accents are so thick. You yourself said you didn't want to watch Happy Valley, which is set in Yorkshire in the UK, a really terrific series about a woman cop. You can't understand what they're saying because it's even more difficult to follow than, say, for a foreigner to follow a southern drawl.
People who think that the British speak the same language we do are wrong. Really, it's true. It's true.
That's fair.
Anyway,
here we go.
I guess it's time to go. Tell them where they can find you.
I'm on Twitter at Culture Blaster. That's one word, Culture Blaster. And on Facebook, Michael Snyder's Culture Blast is a page where you can like and check into and listen to our little segments and read stuff. And there you go.
Thank you, Michael. See you again next week. In the meantime, everyone, stay tuned for more GABNet coming right up.